2023 film preview so comprehensive it took 3 months to get here. It's the 5th Annual Culties. Here's your host, Tom Pod.
Welcome to the 5th Annual Culties. I'm your cult leader, Tom Pod. Delighted to welcome you back to this year's award ceremony. Now you might say, what the hell is going on? Why is there a youth pastor lecturing at me? I know I might look like that, but this blazer, sweater, jumper combination isn't really working out for me. But what this is an award ceremony where we give awards to films that haven't come out yet, aka a preview of the year ahead in film and every movie you should know that's coming out in 2023. Don't take it too seriously, but this is a pretty prestigious award ceremony, more prestigious than the Oscars. They banned Will Smith for 10 years, we banned it for 20. Not saying we're twice as good, but the math adds up. Aside from that, these categories make no sense. The winners kind of change on the flip of a dime, but it's a good way of highlighting what's to come this year. Now, we have a long way to go and a short time to get there, to quote Smokey and the Bandit. And speaking of bandits, who's going to steal that first award? Because our first category this year is Everything Old is New Again. That's basically an award for things we've seen before, remakes, reboots, and that kind of thing. And you might, as we get onto the see, hey, there's another film that could have been to that award. I don't care. Doesn't matter. None of this matters. None of this makes sense. For example, that's not a pillar. That's a giant red candle. See? Throw logic out the window right now as we get into our first award. Everything Old is New Again. The nominees are Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, directed by Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, who previously brought us Game Night. A group of thieves travel to a realm to stop a great evil from enslaving the world. Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, and Hugh Grant are among the cast. Get the D10 out, because this one is hoping to hit March 10th. Oh, would you like that? Bad Jokes. Yeah, I got plenty of those. Get used to it. Little Mermaid from director Rob Marshall comes the next Disney live-action remake. Actress and singer Halle Bailey plays the titular mermaid, Ariel, who looks to become part of our world, May 26th. See, it's not just bad jokes. Sometimes it's nice turns of phrase. It's still a bad joke, but still. Transformers: Rise of the Beast. The next entry in the Transformers series comes from Creed 2 director Stephen Caple Jr. that sees Anthony Ramos take up the lead in this 90s set sequel that introduces Maximals, Predacons, and Terracons. They're more animalistic Transformers, which I don't get. I thought they were meant to be like hiding giant gorillas. Doesn't matter. Autobots roll out June 9th. From Academy Award nominee Greta Gerwig. From a script she co-wrote with award-winning writer Noah Baumbach comes Barbie. A film which sees the doll expelled from Barbie Land, now in the human world. She looks to find true happiness, don't we all? Margot Robbie plays a blonde bombshell, along with the perfect husband, Ken, played by Ryan Gosling, along with the host of alternative Barbies and Kens, and even Will Ferrell as the CEO of Mattel. What the absolute fuck is going on here? Anyway, get ready to party with Barbie, July 21st. The Haunted Mansion. Not content with just adapting their old movies to live action, now Disney are adapting their theme park rides. Again. Remember when we tried this 20 years ago? How'd that go for you, Disney? Rosario Dawson stars as a single mom who moves into a new home with her son, only to find out there's more to the mansion than they realise. It's haunted. Spoilers. Grim Grin and Ghosts come out to socialise August 11th. Gran Turismo. Why? Gran Turismo is getting a movie. Okay, fine. Hey, whatever floats your boat, man, or revs your engine, I guess. Director Neil Blomkamp, who gave us District 9, brings us film based on actual events of a teenage Gran Turismo player who went on to become a real race car driver. David Harbour, Orlando Bloom, and Digimon Hinsu. I don't get it either. Start your engines, August 11th. A reboot of The Exorcist from David Gordon Green, who co-writes and, of course, directs, having previously brought us a Halloween trilogy. This exists in the original continuity and hopes to kick off a whole new trilogy. When Tanner, played by Leslie Odom Jr., has a child who is possessed, he seeks out someone who has been experiencing this before, Chris McNeil, which is a returning Ellen Burstyn. Prepare to face your demons, October 13th. And finally, Wonka. From Paddington director Paul King, he swaps out marmalade for chocolate with Wonka, the prequel to Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, starring Timothy Chalamet as the music maker himself, Willy Wonka. Grab your golden tickets, December 15th. Wow, what great turns of phrase. This is really a real thing, isn't it? Okay, before we announce our winner, let's kind of analyse these. What are we thinking about all these? Are they going to be any good? Right, so starting off we have Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. The main bit of interest I have in this, I'm not a Dungeons & Dragons player, is Game Night was fantastic. Does make me wonder, is this going to be a little bit meta? And is that going to endear itself to a wider audience but also push away the hardcore fans, which I think they're kind of fine with? The first trailer for this looked decent. Second trailer, not so much. I've heard There's a lot riding on this as far as Hasbro film adaptations go, and the Dungeons and Dragons property in general. We shall see. I would say, somewhere in the middle of it. Definitely not a winner for me. The Little Mermaid. Who's excited for Disney live action remakes? Let's be honest. I think it has more potential than other ones. I'm kind of interested to see what they do with it, and I think Rob Marshall is a good director. I love Chicago, but again, doesn't do much for me. Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. I didn't realize this is like a weird film where it's actually set in the 90s, which I didn't realize apparently, and it's like a sort of sequel to Bumblebee, but also kind of in the other continuity of the Michael Bay films. I like Bumblebee. This kind of looks a bit more Michael Bay, even though it's not Michael Bay, but I don't know. I would say my hopes are higher for it than the Michael Bay Transformers, but jury's still out for me. Barbie. What a weird film for me to be like, okay, but that's what makes it work. I mean, first of all, Greta Gerwig is a fantastic filmmaker. I mean, Little Women, when that came out, surprisingly ended up in my top 10. And yeah, it looks kind of weird and interesting, so I kind of want to see where it's going. Definitely an odd one, but kind of a dark horse in this category. Haunted Mansion, okay, let's be honest. Who gives a shit? When Guillermo del Toro was attached to this at one point, I was kind of interested, but it just seems entirely unnecessary. Gran Turismo, hey, exactly what I just said about the Haunted Mansion, except about Guillermo del Toro being attached. I don't know who this film is for. Why did they take like a video game that doesn't have a story? It's Gran Turismo, unless I'm wrong, right? Gran Turismo is literally just drive the car fast. I could not give a shit about this one. The Exorcist reboot, man, they really must regret giving David Gordon the Greens the keys to this before seeing how his Halloween trilogy played out. Like, I love the original Exorcist. I don't know why Ellen Burstyn came back. It seems really weird that she did. Is it just a paycheck? I don't know, but I feel like we've said everything we need to say with The Exorcist. It feels totally unnecessary. Kind of a morbid curiosity, I guess. Wonka is one where I'm excited because I love the Paddington movies, and, you know, Paul King is coming for this, but of all the things that need a prequel, Wonka is not one of them. Like, oh, wow, there's Willy Wonka going to enslave the Oompa Loompas. Yay! Man, this is not a strong category, actually, which I can't believe we're starting our show with me giving an award to Barbie, the winner of the Everything Old is New Again award. Barbie. And there goes all the credibility of the awards, and we're moving on to our next category, which is even more ridiculous. This is an award for sequels that we kind of can't believe we're getting this year, which is somehow blank returned. Sequels we can't believe are real. Starting off 2. Hey. See, they're starting off 2 because it's a sequel. No. Meg 2, The Trench. Generally good director Ben Wheatley is making Meg 2, The Trench for some reason. The plot. The plot. Oh, you're joking. It's Shark. Shark versus Statham, baby. Round 2. August 4th. Then we have The Equalizer 3. Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington team up again for the third Equalizer film, because apparently things weren't equal after the first 2 movies, which also sees Denzel reunite with his Man on Fire co-star Dakota Fanning, September 1st. Then we have Expendables 4. Expendables, this time the letter A is where the 4 is going. See what they did there? Stallone, Statham, Lundgren and others including 50 Cent, by the way, he's here for some reason, apparently drawn to a nuclear conflict between Russia and America. This film brings the series back to its R-rated roots after a very mixed response when it went PG-13 with Expendables 3, and will finally answer the question, who are these films for? I will say, I saw the tagline for this film, and it is, ready? They'll die when they're dead. That's so bad, it's almost good. It's like something a child would come up with. Anyway, I might see this, but I probably won't. September 22nd. Magic Mike's Last Dance, now a film that we all know who it's for. Definitely not for me, but we know who it is for. That's right, Wine Moms. Magic Mike is back for one last dance. Mike is lured to London by a wealthy socialite, played by Salma Hayek, who may have plans of her own as Mike trains a new troupe of dancers. February 10th. I mean, you wouldn't have to be wealthy. I think we'd all follow Salma Hayek to wherever she needs us to go and whatever she wants us to do. Book club, the next chapter. Old ladies in a book club again. That's your ma's going to love it, I suppose. May 12th. Then we have Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel. Who you going to call? Again, a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife apparently coming this year. Co-writer of the last film, Gil Keenan, will take over as director, and the core cast in that entry, McKenna Grace, Finn Wolfhard, Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd, will return. Expected to take place in New York and probably include some OG cast members. Probably not Bill Murray, I'm sure he's sick of it by now. Set for December 20th. Don't be surprised if we're talking about this one again next year. Because, I don't know, that's a very, very tight release date. Maybe. And those are our nominees. It's only 6 nominees for this one. Even though there's other sequels where we're like, what? But they're in other categories. Right, Meg 2, The Trench. I'm sure there's an audience for this. It's not me. I never saw the first Meg. Don't really have an interest in it. I'm shocked it's getting a sequel. Ben Wheatley has made some good films, so I don't know how he got involved, but there you go. The Equalizer 3, again, have not seen the other Equalizer films. I've heard they're pretty decent, but based on the fact I haven't seen the first two, well, why would I be excited for it, you know? The Expendables 4, I mean, this feels so... When did we get Expendables 3? That must be like a decade ago now. It feels so like they missed the boat in this one. Anyway, Magic Mike's Last Dance. Hey, so I'm going to shock you here. I haven't seen the other Magic Mike's. But yeah, I mean, it is. I do like the drama of Magic Mike's Last Dance. Can he do it? As if like Channing Tatum doesn't still look like you know, Magic Mike, like an amazingly attractive stripper man. Yeah, I we're meant to be like, if he was like old and grizzled and out of shape, that's the movie I want to see. But yeah, Book Club. You know, I don't know anything about Book Club. It's old ladies in the book club, I guess. And then the Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel, which yeah, I liked Ghostbusters Afterlife enough. I thought the cast was good. I'm excited to see it come back to New York. There's nothing here to really base this on. It's not a strong category this year. There's a lot of movies where I'm just like, why? Ghostbusters Afterlife, I'm fine with it getting a sequel. I like the last one enough. We'll see where it goes. But again, I'm not ragingly passionate as it was for the last film. It wins a very, very middling endorsement. Somehow, Blank Return, the Sequels We Can't Believe Are Real award, the winner. Ghostbusters Afterlife, the sequel, if it actually does come out this year, which it might not. Speaking of films that might not make it this year, we have a category strictly for films we've spoken about before at previous award ceremonies that didn't make the cut. This is called Deja Vu. Starting off with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. I spoke about this in 2021. That's how long I've been talking about it. I was going to talk about it last year, but it got delayed just before I did my recording. So yeah, I've talked about this a lot. But anyway, it's a 7 Mission Impossible film, the first of a 2-parter that promises the same insanity, stunts and action of the previous entries. Tom Cruise and the rest of IMF team return, along with Hayley Atwell and S.A. Morales returning. With Christopher McQuarrie returning to direct, and after a long production hampered with delays, your mission, should you choose to accept it, drops July 14th. Creed 3, the third film to focus on Adonis Creed, sees Michael B. Jordan return to the role and also take over the directorial duties. This time Adonis has an old friend Dame, played by Jonathan Majors, from his past return after a lengthy prison sentence. He was a bit of a boxing prodigy and he hopes to take the life he feels Adonis stole from him. This fight is scheduled for March 3rd. The Super Mario Brothers movie. Super Mario Brothers, the movie. I don't know. Mario. At long last, the Mushroom Kingdom is back on the big screen with Illumination's Super Mario Brothers, the movie, with a voice cast including Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Jack Black as Bowser, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. It's certainly a film that will get people talking. Let's go! April 7th. Killers of the Flower Moon. Martin Scorsese's next film comes with a hefty price tag and a stellar cast, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, and Brendan Fraser. A co-production between Apple TV Plus and Paramount, this movie follows the investigation into the mysterious murders of members of the Osage tribe in Oklahoma in the 1920s. Originally expected last year, this one should start playing festivals, possibly even debuting at Cannes and open in Cannes, that's the rumour, don't shoot the messenger, before hitting cinemas this year. Salem's Lot. COVID delays forced this new adaptation of the Stephen King novel to this year. Lewis Pullman and Alfred Woodard starred in a film that sees a writer return to his hometown to discover it is being preyed on by vampires and is determined to fight them and take the town back. Expected to haunt cinemas this year. Next Goal Wins. Reshoots to replace Armie Hammer with Will Arnett cost this film its originally expected 2022 release date that sees Thomas Rungan, played by Michael Fassbender, tasked with turning one of the weakest teams in the world into an elite team. Kicks off September 22nd. Havoc. Despite wrapping production in 2021, the latest film from Ray director Gareth Evans has not yet hit Netflix, but that should change this year, where after a drug deal goes awry, a detective must fight his way through a criminal underworld to rescue a politician's estranged son. Starring Tom Hardy, Forrest Whitaker, and Timothy Olyphant. Evil Dead Rise. Originally intended to go straight to HBO Max, this year we'll get the cinematic return of The Evil Dead from director Lee Cronin. This fifth entry takes the series to the new heights of an LA apartment and with a new family dynamic that sees Beth visiting her sister and her 3 kids, but it's not the happiest of reunions when they discover the nightmarish Necronomicon. April 21st, Evil Dead Rise. If you want to hire me for marketing, I am available. Anyway, that is a... God, there's a lot of films that have moved around lately. Is it just because it like since COVID that it's more noticeable that movies get delayed? I don't know, but I gotta be honest, man. This is a tough category. This is like really strong stuff. First of all, Mission Impossible. These films have somehow, in my opinion, managed to get better with every entry. Mission Impossible Fallout, I genuinely think, is one of the best action movies in recent memory. And aside from that, I mean, Tom Cruise is on a hot streak with after Top Gun Maverick. You're like, yeah, I'll follow this man anywhere. That one is going to be a tough one to beat. Creed 3, I think the Creed series has been fantastic. It really, really has. Maybe even better than some of the Rocky films. Well, I mean, obviously better than Rocky 5, but maybe some of the other ones too. The trailers for this look amazing. And I like that they're not leaning. I know some people are saying, like, Stallone isn't back in this one. People are saying, oh, I don't know. I actually find it more interesting. It feels like it's kind of coming out of Rocky's shadow now. Like, the first Creed was a little bit about Rocky. The second one was definitely about Rocky because he was fighting Drago's son or whatever. This one, it's someone from his own past. I find that dynamic very interesting. Jonathan Majors looks like he's going to crush it, and I love that kind of storyline already. And hey, I'm interested to see what Michael B. Jordan can bring as a director because he's certainly a fantastic performer. Another one that looks really good. Super Mario Bros. The movie is a bit of a weird one because it looks really good visually, and the voice cast by and large look good, even though we were kind of taking the piss out of it. Chris Pratt's Mario voice is a little weird, isn't it? Everyone's kind of saying the same thing about that one. I don't know how to feel about it, but I still think it could be really strong. So, you know, yeah, I would say I'm excited for this one. I don't know is it going to be a winner, but pretty solid. Killers of the Flower Moon. I mean, I've been hyping up this one for ages and talking about this one for ages. I've read the book, and it was fantastic. I mean, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, and Martin Scorsese with seemingly an unlimited budget. How could you not be excited for that? Yeah, we've seen very little of it, but I'm certainly very excited for it. It has an amazing cast, and obviously it's Scorsese. How could you not be excited for that one? Salem's Lot, you know, this is one that I'm not unexcited for. It's just in a very tough category. I've never seen any of the Salem's Lot stuff. I've never read Salem's Lot. The plot synopsis, I was like, that's what Salem's Lot is about? Oh, that's kind of interesting. I'll check it out, but, you know, yeah. Next Goal Wins. This is one that I've been looking forward to a lot. And you know what? I will say, this is one where the delay has lessened my excitement because Taika Waititi, I was like, oh, he can do no wrong. And then I saw Thor Love and Thunder, and it wasn't really for me. And I was like, maybe he can do wrong. Army Hammer is gone. They brought in Will Arnett. That's fine. You know, it's interesting. I'm hoping it's going to be good. But again, I was more excited for this film last year. Havoc, another one that I'm excited for because it's Gareth Evans and it does have a fantastic cast. But, you know, another one where it's hard to judge would it actually be good. Like, what has Gareth Evans done since The Raid? He did that film Apostle, which I really liked, that didn't seem like anyone really talked about. He has that show Gangs of London, which I haven't watched. I've heard it's quite good. I don't know. Hopefully it's not kind of being held on and held back for a reason that it's in trouble and not very good. But I'm excited for it, but probably not enough for this to kind of get to the top of the contention for this award. Evil Dead Rise, the trailers for this looked fantastic. Really creepy. I really do like the new dynamic for this. How it's like a family, how it's in an apartment, how it's a modern setting, it's not cabin in the woods all over again. Yeah, this looks really creepy. Lee Cronin made The Hole in the Ground as well, which was fantastic. So this is one where I actually think, yeah, I can't wait to watch this in cinemas. If this was in the horror category, I think it would probably win, to be honest. But we spoke about it last year, so we have to speak about it in this category, unfortunately. So yeah, it comes down to a few for me. Evil Dead is very strong. Killers of the Flower Moon is very strong. Creed 3 and Mission Impossible. Those are probably my top 4. Creed 3, you know... Yeah, I don't think it'll be Creed 3, even though I think it's going to be great. I'm hoping it's going to be great. Killers of the Flower Moon, I think my excitement for that... Like, they've given us nothing, you know? So it's hard for my excitement to get really, really up there. Aside from that, I mean, Evil Dead Rise, it comes out really soon, so it kind of feels like whatever, you know, it's not that far away where my excitement is that high. I feel like I'm going to get my relief there soon. Whoa. And also the fact it was going to HBO Max makes it feel like a bit of a smaller movie. Maybe I'm misjudging it there. It certainly doesn't look like that, and I feel like a film like this should be small anyway, but yeah, I feel like a big dumb ape for putting this over a Scorsese film. I don't know if that's going to be in my top 10, how that pans out, but Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, winner of our Deja Vu Award. Way, Tom Cruise is a fucking looper. He's going to kill himself. Way, for our enjoyment. Hey. I love how Tom Cruise is like, hey, Top Gun is coming out on Blu-ray. I'm going to jump out of a plane. And we're like, yeah, cool. Fair enough, you lunatic. But hey, as long as you keep making the Cheney films, I'm not going to fault you. And certainly, I'm hoping that the next Mission Impossible is also going to be pretty damn entertaining. And that brings us to our next category. Speaking of horror, oh, the horror! Put in a scream sound effect there, because otherwise you just hear my wimpish girly scream. Or maybe that works. Oh, fuck it, I'm not going to put in a sound effect. I love how I put in a sound effect there. I'm talking to myself. I'm editing this. God damn it. Starting off, Scream 6. The confusingly titled Scream 6. Scream 6, Ghostface Takes Manhattan. The confusing title sequel to last year's Scream sees the surviving cast members from that film go to New York, plagued once more by a new Ghostface killer. The directors and writers of last year's entry also return. Not returning is Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott, which has sparked controversy among die-hard fans. This one promises to be grittier than previous films and deliver a Ghostface like we've never seen before. You'll have to wait till March 10th to see if this is your favourite scary movie. Insidious, Fear of the Dark. The fifth Insidious, disappointingly not called Infiftious, will see Patrick Wilson return as a performer and take up the role of director. Set 10 years after the last film, Wilson's character Josh Lambert drops his son off at college, but the repressed demons of the past return to haunt them both. Insidious Fears of the Dark. What is it called? Insidious Fear of the Dark? Hopes to haunt you. July 7th. The Nun 2. The 9th installment in the Conjuring universe and second Nun film sees Taissa Farmiga's sister Irene return to face the demonic force Valak, aka the Nun, in 50s France. Director Michael Chavez, no stranger to the Conjuring series, returns. Say your prayers, September 8th. Saw X is not only the 9th Saw film, kinda, but they couldn't help themselves in putting the X in the title. Even though there's a quote that literally has them saying Spiral wasn't the 9th Saw film. Fuck it, doesn't matter. Fucking idiots, like, why can't horror films like have good titles? Jesus Christ. Most notable for having Tobin Bell return as Jigsaw for the first time since 2017, aka he wasn't in the last one. That's what that means. Saw 6 and Saw 3D director Kevin Greutert also directs this installment. We all thought it was over, but the games begin again, October 27th. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Deep in the 100-acre wood, where Christopher Robin gets fucking murdered. Winnie the Pooh is back, like you've never seen him before. A violent murderer, and Piglet too. Oh bother. An independent horror film capitalising on the public domain status of the original Winnie the Pooh book set the internet ablaze a few months back, but can it live up to the hype? Probably not. If you go down to the woods today, don't, because it comes out February 15th. Shelby Oaks from YouTuber Chris Stuckman comes this horror film which follows Mia, who was searching for her sister and friends who had gone missing, but as the search continues, she starts to wonder if the imaginary demon of their childhood might just be real. Stuckman writes and directs this one that comes out this July. That's our horror category. 6 nominees this year. Not a strong bunch, is it? Again, Evil Dead Rise would have done really well in this category, but fuck it. Okay, Scream 6. As I said, confusingly titled because the last one was just Scream. This one loses marks for not having Neve Campbell. Now, some people are saying, like, oh, it's all a misdirection. She is actually in it. But it's weird because she was, like, being like, oh, this is how they treat women in Hollywood and stuff, I think. Which is like, that's not really how you want to promote your movie, is it? If you're trying to keep a surprise, maybe don't have her go on a rant about legitimate issues. So, I will say, I liked the last film. I like the new cast. They really lucked out getting Jenna Ortega there, didn't they? And the trailer for this looks badass. Like, it looks way darker. Doesn't look as light or as funny or self-referential. I hope that's not going to make the film a bit of a slog in general or divert from the series roots. But also, I think it's time to freshen it up. And it looks awesome, putting in a new setting except for, was it Woodborough? Yeah, I'm actually very excited for this. It comes out very soon. but they haven't shown us enough where I feel spoiled. So that's the one to beat in this category as far as I'm concerned. Insidious. Haven't seen any of the Insidious films. No interest in seeing any of the Insidious films, so that's not going to score very highly. The Nun 2. I tried to watch the first Conjuring and didn't think it was very good. The Nun films look even worse. Like, literally, come on, man. Scary nun. Ooh. It's such a, like, tired trope of, like, oh, nun is scary, right? What about, what do we do next? A scary clown. Ooh. Get the fuck out of here. Saw X. Yeah, also weird. Like I said, this is like only the 9th Saw film because they at first they were like, no, Spiral, it's a different thing because they wanted to cater to non-Saw fans, and then it didn't work for anyone. So they're like, oh yeah, no, this is Saw 10, Saw X. It's so weird that they're like, Tobin Bell returns. It's like 6 years. It's not that long. It really isn't that long. So who cares? Yeah, I'm definitely not into Saw by the 10th entry, you know. I don't know who is. Like, is there anyone who's going to see the new Saw film and is like, oh yeah, well, I've seen all 9 Saw films. Oh, Tobin, like, I'm assuming, is it going to be like, just starting again? I don't know. I guess they tried with Spire and that failed too, so maybe just leave Saw die. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I don't like the trend this is starting, which is, it's public domain. What can we do? What's the cheapest, most obvious thing we can do? Pretty much a straight to DVD horror film where everyone's a slasher. I mean, let's be honest, if this didn't get all the publicity on the internet, it probably would have just gone to some shitty streaming site. I also fear they also are only using Winnie the Pooh and Piglet because some of the other characters aren't introduced till later, so they're not in the public domain. But like, it's really started a horrible trend. Like, we had Grinch recently. They're doing a horror Bambi. These same people are doing a horror Peter Pan. It's like, come on, man. It doesn't do anything for me aside from the shock value of it being Winnie the Pooh and slasher. And I'm going to watch it honestly, but doesn't look good. I think it came out in Mexico already. is that a good sign? I don't know. Shelby Oaks. Look, no disrespect to Chris Stuckman. I don't really listen to his reviews. Maybe I'm subscribed to him on YouTube. I don't know. I never really listen to his reviews anywhere. I watch his reviews. He seems like a nice enough guy. I think he's directed short films as well. Maybe even features. I'm not sure, but I don't know. The only thing I know from his writing is when he was like, the internet took the piss out of him because he was like, oh, Batman and Superman is shit, I'm going to write my own version. And he wrote like something like, tell that to Zod Snap Neck. And everyone's like, that's so bad. This is like a one film category, let's be honest. It's Scream 6. Okay, Scream 6, because it actually looks good. Because I'm actually interested in the series. Oh, the horror! The winner is Scream 6. Which brings us to Book 'em Boys. That's right, we're going from the dregs of horror to the high society of the literary world. These films are being adapted from the novels. And your nominees are Marlowe. The latest film to bring Raymond Chandler's classic detective Philip Marlowe to the big screen adapts the 2014 novel The Black-Eyed Blonde by John Banville, which sees Marlowe hired to find the ex-lover of a wealthy heiress. With director Neil Jordan and writer William Monaghan, this shows promise, but did draw some mixed reviews when it closed the San Sebastian Film Festival in September. But you can draw your own conclusions. Draw your own conclusions. There you go. It's February 15th. A Haunting in Venice. If you fancy more detective fare, you can check in once more with Hercule Poirot for the third entry in Branagh's Agatha Christie series. A Haunting in Venice, based on our novel Halloween Party, which sees the now retired Poirot solve the murder of a guest at a seance. Michael Green returns as the writer of the last two films, and Branagh returns as both detective and director. Joining the ensemble this time around are Jamie Dornan, Tina Fey, Michelle Yeoh, and more. Journey into Mystery, September 15th. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. No, seriously, I'm asking, are you there, God? Sorry, I changed my name to Margaret for the purpose of that joke. Was not worth it. Based on the classic coming-of-age novel by Judy Blume, it's finally brought to the big screen by writer-director Kelly Fremont Craig, who previously gave us The Edge of 17. Follows 6th grader Margaret trying to find her religious identity as she moves from New York to New Jersey with her family, with one Jewish parent and one Christian parent. Cast includes Rachel McAdams, Betty Safdie, and Kathy Bates. Last Voyage of the Demeter. Andre Overdahl directs this supernatural horror, interestingly adapted from just one chapter of the Captain's Log. What am I trying to say? I ran into trouble as soon as I tried to read that one. Last Voyage of the Demeter. Andre Overdahl directs this supernatural horror, interestingly adapting just one chapter of Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Captain's Log chapter, that sees the crew of the ship, the Demeter, stalked by a dark presence. Spoiler, it's Dracula. Shocker, right? Corey Hawkins, Aisling Francoisi, Corey Hawkins, Liam Cunningham, and David Dastalmatian star in this film and has sat in development hell for over 2 decades. Sink your teeth in August 11th. Dune Part 2. Denis Villeneuve adapts the second half of Frank Herbert's seminal sci-fi novel Dune after the success of the 2021 film, as Paul Atreides continues his quest to get revenge on those who destroyed his family. Much of the surviving original cast return, and joining them are Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, and Christopher Walken, among others. The spice flows once more, November 8th. The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, a prequel to the Hunger Games series, adapted from Suzanne Collins' 2020 YA novel. It follows future president of Panem and series antagonist Coriolanus Snow as he mentors a female tribute for the upcoming 10th Hunger Games, who he begins to develop feelings for. Tom Blythe, Rachel Zegler, Peter Dinklage, and more join the games this time around. Volunteer as tribute, November 17th. Well, some decent ones here. I'm not going to lie. There's some pretty good nominees in this category. There's other things that have been adapted from books coming up as well, but, you know, this is just the ones we're going with. Okay, so let's start with Marlowe. You know, on paper, I'm like, yeah. The reviews were kind of mixed for it, though. I haven't watched the trailers for this, so I don't know. I kind of feel like that sort of noir detective has kind of passed. We are getting a lot of these kind of noir, kind of detective stories lately, and I don't know if the noir element is one that people want to go back to. A Haunting in Venice? Thank God. This means I get to dust off my Hercule Poirot impression, which I do quite often. The return of Hercule Poirot. Oh, this egg is not to my liking, monsieur. Are you trying to kill me? Oh, mustache. I swear it gets worse every time I do it. Look, I'll be honest. I actually think those are two pretty good films. I actually really liked Death on the Nile, more than anyone else did, really. We got an origin for his mustache. I mean, what's not to like? But yeah, it's definitely one that I'm kind of, you know, in a camp by myself with that one. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I like the cast. I like the kind of different vibe this one is going for. The seance and supernatural aspect, it interests me as well. Are you there, God? It's there. It's me, Margaret. I was familiar with this book. I've never read it. I'm generally rule of thumb is that I'm not into coming of age stuff, really. This is like the coming of age story, though, and Edge of 17 was apparently really good. Again, I didn't see it. It's also, do you know what the weirdest thing is about this, right? Coming of age movie, I think it's got like a 40 million budget, which is, again, you're like, really? But anyway, Hans Zimmer is already scoring it. That seems really like a mismatch, right? Am I wrong there? It's like, oh, this girl, is she going to be Jewish or Christian? Who is she? Hans Zimmer. Anyway, I don't know. Could be good, though. Last Voyage of the Demeter. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Demeter. It doesn't matter. Fuck it. I honestly think this sounds really good. Like Dracula on a boat stalking a crew. That just screams class, and the cast is really good. That's a dark horse here, man. It's one that I was not even familiar with until I started doing research here. But it sounds really good. Let's be honest. Dune Part 2. I thought Dune Part 1 was good. I didn't love it as much as everyone else. But then again, anytime Denis Villeneuve makes a film, it's something to be excited about. The cast is amazing as well. And I feel like one of the problems with the first one was it did feel like it just kind of ended. So we're getting some kind of ending here at least. So I think that's a reason to be excited for it, if nothing else. And then we have the Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Right, well, I really liked the first two Hunger Games films. And I thought the was it Mockingbird, those Part 1 and Part 2, really killed my interest in the series. A prequel? Do we need a prequel to this, really? I like Rachel Zegler. I think it's kind of interesting making the antagonist be a kind of protagonist, even though, let's be honest, it's something every prequel kind of does. You know, I'll probably watch it. But if the Hunger Games had kind of stuck the landing for me, I would have been much more excited. So for me, it's like, there's a few good ones here. I would say Haunting of the Venice would probably be number 3. Number 2 would probably be Last Voyage of Demeter. But yeah, Dune Part 2 is going to be my number 1 because Denis Villeneuve, Dune 1 was good. So this one feels like it's going to give me more of what was good and maybe even improve on it. So how could I not be excited for Dune Part 2? The winner of the Book and Boys category is Dune Part 2. Let's go the total opposite direction now for the awards for people maybe who can't read. The little ones. This award is for the children. Like the Wu-Tang Clan! Respect! Rest in peace, old dirty bastard. Elemental. Pixar's next film takes place in a city where 4 elements reside, and when a fire and water women meet up, they realise how much they actually have in common. Pixar mainstay Peter Sohn directs, who previously directed The Good Dinosaur. June 16th, 2023. Harold and the Purple Crayon. A long in development film adaptation of the 50s kids book about a boy named Harold who goes on a magical journey with his purple crayon. Carlos Saldanha directs his first live-action film, having previously given us the 2 Rio films and the first 3 Ice Age movies. Stars Zachary Levi and Zoe Deschanel. Journey with Harold, June 30th. Trolls 3, a third Trolls film. Maybe it's a third too, who knows? It probably is. Trolls Band Together is apparently what it's called. And apparently it's going to be directed by Colin Jack and Tim Geitz, and should feature the return of Anna Kendrick as Queen Poppy and Justin Timberlake as Branch. Branch. Wow, that's an exciting character name. Justin Timberlake as Branch. This is apparently coming out November 17th. I say apparently for all these because there doesn't seem to be a lot of firm details. This is going off IMDb, which could be entirely wrong. Maybe we'll never get a Trolls film. Wouldn't that be nice? That might be my wish. See what I did? Wish is Disney Animation's only film this year, which follows 17-year-old Asha and her good Valentino as they navigate the Kingdom of Wishes, where wishes come true. This film is about the wishing star from Disney. That's, you know, when we wish upon a star. That one. That star. It's about that star. We'll get to it, don't worry. Frozen director Chris Buck and co-director Fawn Vera Sunthorn. Buck's Frozen co-director Jennifer Lee also is here. She writes the script along with having written Frozen in the past. This is very confusing. November 22nd, 2023. So, one person who co-directed Frozen is co-directing this. The other person that's directing is Fawn Vera Sunthorn. And the person who co-directed Frozen is writing this one. Got it? Cool. Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. 23 years after the original, we get Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. Flushed Away and Paranormal director Sam Fell directs and writes, which sees Ginger and friends having to return to the mainland when chickenkind faces a new threat. Controversy arose with the widespread recasting of some of the voice cast. Mel Gibson replaced Zachary Levi, but more egregious was that Julia Sawalha was replaced by Thandie Newton due to what they say was basically that she was too old. This obviously led to a lot of accusations of ageism because she actually, you know, showed that she could still voice the part online. But hey, chickens start their run November 10th, 2023. Spellbound. Skydance Animation still has a lot to prove, and they hope this second film will help their case when Spellbound comes to Apple TV Plus from Shrek co-director Vicky Jensen. In a film where a young princess must break the spell that has split her kingdom in two, featuring the voice talent of Rachel Zegler, Nicole Kidman, and Javier Bardem. You may have to wait a spell for this one, as we have no firm date, but expect it in 2023. Migration. Illumination and School of Rock and White Lotus creator Mike White team up to bring you Migration, about a family of ducks that try to convince their father to go on the trip of a lifetime. I'm sure there's a White Lotus joke in there, but I haven't seen it, so just come up with your own joke for that one, folks. This is a film that is real, by the way, I swear. The guy who made White Lotus, Mike White, and many other things, this is his film. Film about ducks. Cool. The Magician's Elephant. A computer animated film comes to Netflix based on the book by Kate DiCamillo that sees Peter searching for his long-lost sister. To find her, he has to find a fortune teller, and that fortune teller tells him to find a magician with an elephant. That's a lot of finding. He's trying to find a sister. He finds a fortune teller says, find the magician's elephant. Might be a long one with all that finding. Anyway, after some time in development hell, it arrives on Netflix, March 17. Paddy's Day, St. Patrick's Day, The Magician's Elephant. Oh, I put it on an Irish accent. I'm Irish already. Anyway, well, a lot of films for kids this year. I gotta be honest, I think it's a weaker year for kids films based on these. But again, there's always other films that we haven't named that could be in other categories, and, you know, general stuff that could come out of nowhere. Okay, Elemental. Getting Inside Out vibes from this, which I like. I'm you know, one of the people who thinks Inside Out is one of the best Pixar films, certainly in recent memory. That's what really that's why I have any interest in this. I haven't seen a lot from it either, so it's hard to tell. Harold and the Purple Crayon, don't know much about it. Sounds kind of standard to me, to be honest. Trolls 3, yeah, no thanks. Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget. I mean, aside from the ages of stuff, which I do think is really egregious, to be honest. I mean, it's 23 years after the original. This film is 22 years too late then. So, sorry. Spellbound. I did not see their other film. What was their film called? Was it Look? Didn't see it. Heard it wasn't great. Don't have much interest in this one either. Wish is the Disney one. They're doing the whole like Wish on a Star because it's the 100th anniversary of Disney, I think. 100th anniversary since Steamboat Willie or whatever. Could be fine. like it does seem like really weirdly corporate though, doesn't it? It's like, oh, hey, do you want to learn a film about the water tower in the Warner Brothers logo? Hey, what about whatever happened to the lion in the MGM logo? How did he get to be a movie star? You know, it's like, come on, man. It feels like just corporate circle jerking. But anyway, Migration, yeah, I don't know much about that. Could be fine, could be nothing. Yeah, does nothing for me. The Magician's Elephant, yeah, don't care about that one either. Yeah, very weak category this year. I'll probably watch 2 or 3 of them. I'm going to give it to Elemental. Pixar, bet on Pixar when you're not sure, I suppose. But hey, hopefully we'll have more luck with our next category. Send in the Clowns, the Comedy Award. These are, of course, for comedy films that should make you laugh. If they don't make you laugh, they're not very good films. Here are the films hoping to make you laugh this year. Renfield, Lego Batman director Chris McKay brings us the horror comedy Renfield, written by Community and Rick and Morty writer Ryan Ridley, from a story idea by Robert Kirkman. The story that sees Dracula's lackey Renfield find a new lease on life when he falls in love. Nicholas Hoult stars as Renfield, and perhaps most notably, Nicolas Cage stars as Count Dracula. Whoa! If you're invited in, come to cinemas April 14th. Strays, a live-action adult animated comedy. Get your head around that. A live-action adult animated comedy. That's a lot of genres. Josh Greenbaum, director of Barb and Sarah Go to Vista Del Mar, directs from a script by co-creator of American Vandal Dan Perro. And the abandoned dog named Reggie teams up with other strays to get revenge on his owner. Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx provide voices while Will Forte plays the owner. The dogs get off their leash June 9th. Oh, I should have said, like, who let the dogs out? Yeah, I should have said that old ass reference, right? Challengers, Bones and All and Call Me By Your Name director Luca Guadagnino, of all people, brings us a romantic sports comedy that follows 3 former friends as they compete in a tennis tournament. Zendaya leads the film, which is set for an August 11th release. Coyote vs. Acme, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows director Dave Green brings us his live-action animated legal comedy. Oh, you thought Strays had it bad. A live-action animated legal comedy. Right. Legal comedy? Is that even a genre? What else fits into that? Liar, liar? That's the only one I can think of. This sees Wile E. Coyote take legal action against the Acme company for their products repeatedly failing him, with a script that includes contributions from James Gunn and Jeremy Slater, and a cast including Will Forte and John Cena. This might show some promise. Court date set for sometime this year. The Machine, from the director of Keanu, comes this film inspired by Burt Kreischer's legendary stand-up routine. The film sees Burt and his father kidnapped by those he wronged 20 years ago on a semester abroad in Russia, May 26th. They clone Tyrone. This sci-fi mystery comedy thrusts an unlikely duo onto the trail of a nefarious government conspiracy. John Boyega, Teyonah Parris, and Jamie Foxx star, and it comes to Netflix July 21st. Okay. Not a bad showing, actually. And there's other ones I didn't put in, so is there any good? We're in for a strong year, especially because comedy feels like a genre film that's kind of struggling lately. But Renfield, we got a trailer for this one. I didn't fall in love for it as much as other people did, but I feel like I'm totally in the market for this. I love old horror films, and the kind of, even the font was like the old Dracula font from the Universal horror film. So yeah, that's kind of, and I mean, Nicolas Cage's Dracula, you don't bet against that. This is going to be very hard to beat. Strays sounds really interesting. Aside from, like, as I said, the really amount of like caveats in the genres there, I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. I like Barb and Sarah Go to Vista Del Mar, so that could help it as well. Challengers is one I have no interest in. I haven't seen a lot of Luca Guadagnino's other films, but I'm like, oh, he's directing this. That's interesting. But, you know, aside from that, if it's a sports rom-comedy, I don't really care. Coyote vs. Acme is another one that I'm like, that sounds really interesting. It's a great premise. I'd love to see it work, because I don't think the Looney Tunes have it done right in a long time. I said contributions from James Gunn and Jeremy Slater. We heard 2 writers on it. There's like 6 writers on it, which is kind of nerve-wracking. I think it was meant to come out last year, so that doesn't fill you with confidence. But I am excited for it just on principle alone, and also John Cena. I like anytime he gets a good chance. The Machine. I haven't heard that Burt Kreischer joke in a long time, but I remember being kind of funny. And Mark Hamill is in it, so I'm enjoying that. So maybe I don't know. Is there a trailer for that one? I haven't watched it yet. Anyway, if there is, They Clone Tyrone. I mean, could be very good. Has a good cast. It's going to Netflix though. I mean, comedy films on Netflix feel like they're just there to not be watched, don't they? Or watched and ignored. But yeah, I don't know. It's actually it's a strong category. There's 6 nominees there. Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Renfield. I like horror comedies. This one shows promises. The only one I've kind of seen anything of, and I generally liked what I saw more than I didn't like, at least. So yeah, I'm going to certainly be in line to see Renfield, Master. Anyway, I talked about Netflix. I said there's a lot of films that go into streaming and are just instantly forgotten. Hopefully, they won't be forgotten, because our next one is Bring It to the House, the Streaming Award. These are films that are being shown on streamers this year. There's a lot of them, but we're only going to name a few. Community, the movie, 6 seasons and a movie, finally comes true. Community creator Dan Harmon and writer Andrew Guest will write. No word yet on director, but the show's original cast is expected to return, although so far Donald Glover and Yvette Nicole Brown are not yet confirmed, nor is the possibility of Chevy Chase appearing. Expected to film this summer for a possible release on Peacock this year. Luther, the Fallen Son. The film continuation of the Idris Elba series sees a troubled but great detective determined to bring to justice a serial killer who terrorizes London. Arrives on Netflix the 10th of March after a limited theatrical engagement. I should say, if you want to know more about that one, there's a lot of spoilers for the show in the plot synopsis. I have not watched the show. I kept them out here deliberately, but just know that if you're like, oh, they're making a movie of it, maybe watch the show. What's the movie about? Oh, okay, the show is ruined. Know that before you do it. The Killer. David Fincher's second Netflix film follows an assassin who starts to develop a conscience. The film reunites Fincher with his Seven scriptwriter, Andrew Kevin Walker, and is based on a French graphic novel from 1998. The film stars Michael Fassbender and hits Netflix November 10th. Rebel Moon. Snyder fans rejoice as the director brings his version of Star Wars to Netflix in Rebel Moon, where a young woman from a peaceful colony is forced to seek warriors out from nearby planets to fight off the armies of a tyrannical king. Sophia Boutella, Charlie Hunnam, Ray Fisher, and many more star in this sci-fi action film that touches down on Netflix December 22nd. The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Wes Anderson adapts a story by Roald Dahl that follows a man who can see through walls and predict the future with the help of a book he stole, that being Henry Sugar, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Comes to Netflix this autumn. Peter Pan and Wendy. Not to be confused with that violent horror one we were talking about earlier, this is another Disney live-action adaptation of a previous film? Disney live-action version of an animated version? You know what I mean. From director David Lowery, who gave us Green Knight and Pete's Dragon, this is a film that follows the classic tale of the boy who never grew up, of course, which has Jude Law take up the role of Captain Hook, coming to Disney Plus this year. Roadhouse. Doug Liman directs this remake of the 80s action classic. An ex-UFC fighter opens up a roadhouse in the Florida Keys, but things are not how they seem. Jake Gyllenhaal, Daniela Melchior, and Conor McGregor star in this Amazon film, arriving this year. Also coming from Amazon is Ben Affleck's latest directorial effort, Air, which he also acts, I should say, in the film alongside Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, and Viola Davis, about Sonny Vaccaro, a Nike shoe salesman who tries to sign Michael Jordan to a deal to wear their shoes. The script had previously appeared on the Blacklist and will have a wide theatrical release, unlike many Amazon films, April 5th. I should say, I don't think that one is, I don't know, is that a streaming film? Certainly it feels like a film that could be profitable if it goes straight to streaming, but I'd say it'll get a good theatrical run before hitting Amazon Video. There's some good stuff here, has to be said. Community the movie, one I'm very excited for. If you love the Community show, yes. If not, you're not going to get anything out of it, obviously. I'm very excited because I love that show. I don't know if it's going to come out this year, to be quite honest, but it's here anyway, just in case. Same kind of thing, but the opposite for Luther. If you like the show, you're going to be excited for the movie. I haven't seen the show, so I'm not excited for the movie. The Killer, I mean, it's David Fincher, man. Like, how could you not be excited for it? And the fact that he's teaming up with Andrew Kevin Walker against Seven is probably my favourite Fincher film, and one of my favourite films, full stop, so that's absolutely going to be really high on my list. Rebel Moon, I don't know how to feel about this one. I like Zack Snyder films to a certain degree, as much as I don't like the kind of fan base or what he did with DC. I didn't like Army of the Dead either, but I'm interested to see what his version of a Star Wars thing likes, and I'm slightly worried that Netflix give him kind of, carte blanche and they're going to end up with a really long slog of a film, but hopefully. Like, I've only seen tiny snippets of footage and it looks pretty promising, so fingers crossed it actually turns into something good. Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. I mean, this is, I don't even think I mentioned, this is Wes Anderson. Oh, I did, Wes Anderson's apps, yeah. He made Fantastic Mr. Fox, which was excellent. I'm not always a Wes Anderson fan, but certainly this sounds pretty exciting. It is weird. Netflix have set up the Roald Dahl universe, and Henry Sugar has powers. Matilda has powers. It's like we're going to end up with like a big kind of Avengers style Roald Dahl film at some point. Anyway, Peter Pan and Wendy. This is what I don't care about. Peter Pan was never really a film I got into when it came to the animated films. But David Lowery made The Green Knight and some good films, which makes me kind of go maybe. But unless it has really good reviews, I can't see myself watching it. Roadhouse, never saw the original. Don't give a shit. Fuck off, Conor McGregor, please. Air sounds pretty interesting actually. It sounds like a very simple story. Hopefully it's good. Affleck is a good director. Sounds like it could be an interesting story, so hopefully it actually pans out. But yeah, there's some good stuff here. I wouldn't give it to Community just because that feels very could just be my personal choice. And actually there is something I'm more excited for as well. I think Air is up there as well. Rebel Moon and Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar are ones that also I have some degree of interest, but the film I'm most anticipated that's also coming to Netflix has to be David Fincher's The Killer. It's a Fincher film. He's reuniting with his Seven writer. Michael Fassbender is in it. I mean, there's a lot of ticks in the box for this one. I can't think of any negatives right now. So that's certainly the winner of Bring It to the House, the streaming award, is The Killer. How about we talk about other award shows? I know you're sick of other award shows. Tom, we only like this show. Yeah, I know. We're all thinking it. What about what movies other award shows are going to give awards to? Boo, boo, oh, sorry. Should have cut to me there. Anyway, award goes to award. This is the film that we think that Oscars, Golden Globes, and all those award categories and award ceremonies are going to give awards to. So let's have a look. Napoleon. Ridley Scott brings his next historical epic to Apple TV Plus with Napoleon, which shows his rise to power from the perspective of his wife, Josephine. Stars Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon and Vanessa Kirby as Josephine. Will it measure up to the success of Scott's Gladiator, which scored 12 nominations when it came out? Only time is going to tell, but it will hit Apple this year. I'm assuming it'll also get a theatrical release, but let's be honest, it's an Apple film, so it'll probably end up there pretty quick. Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan writes and directs his own historical biopic this year about the father of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer, played by Cillian Murphy. Quite possibly the best cast ever assembled for a film, but will it be a hit or is it destined to bomb? Explodes into cinemas July 21st. Yeah, you want to know like the cast of this film. It's insane. There's another film down the road that we'll get to that might have just as good a cast, but I'm just going to name out a few people, right? Like I said, Cillian Murphy's the lead. Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Rami Malek, Betty Safdie, Michael Angarano, Josh Hartnett, Kenneth Branagh, Dane DeHaan, Dylan Ireland, David Krumholtz, Aiden Ehrenreich, Matthew Modine, Jack Quaid, David Dasselmachen, Jason Clarke, Josh Peck, David Bostic, Alex Wolff, Tony Goldwyn, Scott Grimes, Josh Zuckerman, James D'Arcy. That's just a few. There's other names down there as well, like Olivia Trilby, Casey Affleck, Gary Oldman. Like, I skipped like people in the middle there as well, and that's just a few of them. Like, insane. One of the best casts ever put on film. Very interesting one. Can't wait to talk about that one in a sec. The Colour Purple. This is won awards as a book. It's won awards as a film and as a musical, and this is an adaptation of that musical. It's not an adaptation of the book, so it's something different if you've already seen the Spielberg Colour Purple. With producers, with the like of Oprah and Spielberg, it has a lot of cachet. I mean, it seems like it's written in the stars it's going to win awards, since Colour Purple seemingly can't do anything without winning awards. Certainly it has a prime award release date as well of December 20th. Maestro. Bradley Cooper directs, stars and co-writes this Netflix film about the life of conductor Leonard Bernstein and his marriage to Felicia Montealegre. Montealegre. Felicia. By Felicia. Played by Carey Mulligan. Produced by a powerhouse trio of Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese and Todd Phillips, to name just a few. Although some controversy emerged about Cooper's decision to wear a prosthetic nose to portray Bernstein, due to some sort of anti-Semitism allegations. That aside, this one looks set to score some awards after its release this year. See what it did there? Score? Clever stuff. This is the kind of highbrow stuff they love at the Oscars. Ferrari. Michael Mann finally makes his long in development Enzo Ferrari biopic, which follows his family problems as he prepares for the Mille Miglia endurance race. Adam Driver? No, that's not a pun. Adam Driver is playing Ferrari. He's going to... What? God, I got so focused on the pun, I made a mistake. Adam Driver plays Ferrari. Adam Driver drives Ferrari. Adam Driver gives a powerhouse performance as a Ferrari. He also co-stars with Penelope Cruz, his wife, Ferrari roars into cinemas this year. Maybe. No proper date. It's gotta. We'll talk about the issue with that one in a minute. Megalopolis finally Francis Ford Coppola makes his passion project Megalopolis a reality, apparently on his own dime. A cast that includes Adam Driver, Forrest Whitaker, John Voight, Aubrey Plaza, and Dustin Hoffman means it certainly doesn't come cheap. The story is about an architect who wants to rebuild New York as a utopia after a disaster destroys it. Apparently going through a turbulent production, so don't be surprised if this one slips into next year. Alright. Good category, man. Good category. There's a lot of great films in here. Napoleon, I actually liked a lot of Ridley Scott's recent films. I'm kind of in the minority with that. I enjoyed, what was the one that he made a couple of years ago, The Last Duel, even though no one saw it, I liked it. And, Joaquin Phoenix can't miss. I don't know, it feels, to me, this is to me one of those films where it's like, you just want the awards, don't you? Don't you, Ridley? You just want the awards. I don't know if it sounds actually interesting, but, Oppenheimer, I mean, aside from the amazing cast, Christopher Nolan generally makes great films. I didn't love Tenet, and I think that's why I'm kind of interested to see him do something that's a bit more on the surface simple. This isn't dealing with complex issues. Oh yeah, it's not dealing with complex issues, just fucking just atomic weaponry. Simple stuff. But you know what I mean? It's like a biopic of a person who is real. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I thought the trailer was visually very interesting and intense, so I don't know. I feel like an Oppenheimer biopic is long overdue, so I'd be interested to see what Nolan does with it. Certainly it's one that's going to be hard to beat. The Colour Purple, I mean, I haven't, as much as I said The Colour Purple has been adapted, I've never seen any version of The Colour Purple. I don't know, is the musical any good, is it? Like, sure, why not? Maestro, Bradley Cooper gave us Star is Born. I like Star is Born enough. I don't know enough about Leonard Bernstein. I'm sure it seems like it's going to win a lot of awards. I mean, it is really impressive to have Spielberg, Scorsese, and Todd Phillips as your producers. But then again, producers kind of mean nothing. You know what I mean? Ferrari, Michael Mann, is a great director. He's a bit of a legendary director. Adam Driver, I'm sure he'll give a great performance. You've seen the photos of him, and you're like, what the hell is going on there? The thing I was hinting at as far as the release is that this is coming in America, at least, from SCX Films, who are having major financial problems. And apparently they're going to sell off a lot of their films. This might be one of them. I'm pretty sure it's coming out this year anyway. I think it's actually come to Sky in the UK and Ireland. But we shall see. Megalopolis, I don't know, is this coming out this year? Fair play to Francis Ford Coppola. Like, I'm just going to make this movie, whether you want me to make it or not. I'm putting all my money into it, god damn it. Sounds like it's going to be pretty expensive because he fired all the visual effects team. He's not getting on well with the new technology. I guess that's what happens when you haven't directed a film in so long and you try to make this. Like I said, it's been in development for a long time. To give an example, this was meant to go into production around the time of 9/11, and then they're after with the plot being rebuilding New York after the disaster, they're now is probably not the time for that. Great cast. It doesn't sound all that interesting, but it's hard to go off just that. I get the feeling we won't be seeing this year. Actually, to be honest, I don't know. Just after hearing about all those production problems, maybe not. So yeah, for me, this is kind of there's a few interesting films there, but I think the one that interests me the most, as much as I kind of was disappointed with Tenet, Oppenheimer. I mean, amazing cast, interesting subject, and Christopher Nolan, at the very least, always gives us something that is worth seeing and worth talking about. So that's why I'm giving the award for the award goes to award. The award goes to award to Oppenheimer. Fuck it, he's getting an award. All right, there we go. Oppenheimer, the winner of that award there. And enough about stifly awards. Let's do some manly stuff. Let's do some burly stuff. Let's do something cool. Lights, camera, action. But mainly the last one. And a category for action movies coming out this year. And you might say, hey, other movies that we talk about were action. Doesn't matter, shut up. John Wick, Chapter 4. Man Killer and Dog Lover. John Wick. Not that way. Not that way. He likes animals. Okay, he likes animals. Returns for Chapter 4, where he realizes he may be able to defeat the High Table who's hunting him, but first must defeat a new powerful enemy. Much of the supporting cast return, while we also get new cast members Donnie Yen and Bill Skarsgård. John Wick 2 and John Wick, not John 2. That would be a great name, John 2. John Wick 2 and 3 director Chad Stahelski also returns for this installment. Mr. Wick will see you March 24th. Fast X, the first of a two-part finale for the Fast series, apparently. Saw some trouble with production when frequent series director Justin Lin left after just a week of production to be replaced by Louis Leterrier. The rest of the Fast Family return with the addition of Brie Larson and Jason Momoa, who will team up with Charlize Theron's Cypher to try to take out Dom and his crew. Rumours persist this may also see the return of the somehow alive Gal Gadot. Fast X rides into cinemas May 19th. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Dr. Jones, calling Dr. Jones. Indiana Jones returns once more in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. See? Perfectly rhymes off the tongue. Directed by Logan director James Mangold, the first director aside from Spielberg to make an indie film. This promises to be Harrison Ford's last outing as the adventurer and takes place against the backdrop of the space race, with Jones being unhappy at the hiring of Nazis for the space program. Phoebe Waller-Bridge joins the cast as Indy's goddaughter Helena, and Mads Mikkelsen portrays Jurgen. Jurgen? There we go, better German. A former Nazi hired by NASA. The film also contains some GHCs of Harrison Ford that show quite a bit of promise, but can this be the fitting final chapter for one of cinema's great heroes? Dial of Destiny whips into theatres June 30th. 65. Adam Driver stars in this sci-fi action thriller where he crashes on a stranded Earth. 65 million years ago, plagued with prehistoric creatures. Yes, dinosaurs. We're talking about dinosaurs. No one cares about any other prehistoric creature. It's dinosaurs, everybody. Would this be better off extinct, though? Find out March 10th. See what I did there? Extraction 2. Tyler Rake. Tyler Rake. Oh, wow, that's his name. Okay. Chris Hemsworth stars in the sequel to Netflix smash hit. Was it? You know, like, feels like every film on Netflix is a smash hit when they want it to be. Extraction, it arrives June 16th, who cares? Cocaine Bear is directed by Elizabeth Banks. What's it about? Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear. What do you need to know? God damn it. February 24th. Argyle. Matthew Vaughn directs this spy film, which they hope will be the start of a franchise for Apple TV Plus, and given it cost $200 million to acquire the rights, they are really going to need it too. Based on the book that hasn't been released by an author that apparently doesn't exist. I'll try to explain that in a minute. I'm not joking, by the way. With a phenomenal cast, Argyle has some big potential and expectations when it hits Apple TV Plus this year. True Love, Godzilla director Gareth Edwards writes and directs this sci-fi film starring John David Washington and Gemma Chan. Not much else is known about this one, but it is set to be released October 6th, 2023. Okay. Some good action movies this year, has to be said. John Wick Chapter 4. Does it annoy anyone else, by the way? Sorry, now, I know I get a bit peculiar about titles, right? John Wick Chapter 2. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Okay, we got a subtitle now. John Wick Chapter 4. What? Why not just call it John Wick Chapter 3? Like Parabellum. Who's like, oh yeah, no, Parabellum is a very important word to get in there. Ugh, that annoys me, man. Anyway, look, I love the John Wick movies. Some people think they've run out of steam. I'm still all up for them. I thought the trailer for this looked very good. Am I excited for it? Yeah. I think this is probably towards the higher end of the category for me. Fast X, I mean, the last one shot the bed for me. What else can they do? It feels like everyone is coming back. It feels like they just keep throwing people into this. Like, these movies are just an exercise in indulgence and being overstuffed. Maybe it'll be fine. I don't know. I'm going to watch it, obviously, but I don't know if I'm excited for it. Dial of Destiny, Indiana Jones, man. I mean, first of all, I am excited. I know some people aren't about this, but I'm excited that we're getting an Indiana Jones film that's not Steven Spielberg. I find that kind of interesting, to be honest. Mads Mikkelsen is in it. That helps. I love the idea of it like being against the backdrop of the space race and him not being happy with the Nazi sub Operation Paperclip. Some people are really freaking out about Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I thought the trailer for this looked excellent. Like, way better than it should have. Do not like the title. I know all I'm doing is complaining about titles, but Dial of Destiny sounds corny as shit. But hey, anyway. 65. This is one of those ones where, like, why did Adam Driver do this? It doesn't seem like the sort of film he would normally do. And aside from it being like, oh, dinosaurs, fighting dinosaurs, I don't really care about it. Maybe it'll be alright, but it feels like, I don't know, it feels like it could go either way. But it'll probably just stay in the middle, to be honest. Extraction 2, didn't see Extraction 1. Don't really care about Netflix action movies. Cocaine Bear, all jokes aside, it feels like it's Jaws on land with a bear. I think it could be fun. It definitely looks enjoyable. Whether it's going to be actually good, who knows. Argyle, right, this is the one I was talking about where the book hasn't been released and the author is apparently not real, because they bought the rights to this book and the book has never come out. still. And then, like, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter tried to, like, contact like the publisher or their agent or something, and there was no one. They couldn't get on to anyone. There was let's see, I have the article up here. Yeah, from the Hollywood Reporter. So they spent $200 million on this. Okay, the book has an Amazon page. It says the German language Kindle version is scheduled for January 10, 2023. Oh my god! Wait a minute. Maybe did it come out? It says pre-order price. No, it's been delayed. Dun, dun, dun. Is this a real book? What is? But I don't understand. Like, why? What is the scam here? Why did they come up with an author if they did? So anyway, it's they bought the rights to it. The author is apparently someone called a first-time author called Ellie Conway. Her bio just says she lives in the United States and is currently working on the next installment in the series. Right, okay. There's no information about Conway. Internet searches for her name turn up only references to a fictional character on the long-running Australian soap opera Neighbours. So that's good. Adding to the mystery, an alternate spelling of her name, Ellie Conway, I-E, as opposed to the Y, appears elsewhere on the Penguin Random House website and in news reports on the Rights Deal. An Instagram account, author Ellie Conway, currently sits empty and is followed by 9 accounts, including a Bryce Dallas Howard fan account. Why is that notable? A short teaser for the film was released in March 9th. It features Dua Lipa dancing seductively with Cavill. The bigger the spy, Cavill says in a voiceover, the bigger the lie. Oh wait, that's just them promoting the movie. Efforts by the Hollywood Reporter to interview Conway or even learn more details about her have proven fruitless. Communications with a publicist for Ballantine Books, the imprint publishing argyle, went dead after the conversation turned to questions about the author. They're also just, by the way, Conway apparently has an agent who also didn't respond, and this story came out in September. There's been no update, so that's more interesting to me than the film. I mean, Matthew Vaughn doing a cool spy film with a load of money is interesting, but I'm also like, why did they do that? That's very odd. Anyway, True Love. Yeah, that could be anything, there's not a lot of details on it. So yeah, it's a tough one. There is some good stuff. I am excited for John Wick. I am going to see Fast X. I don't know if I'm excited. Cocaine Bear sounds like Disposable Fun. Argyle Time's alright, but for me, this is the one that's above all of them has to be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The trailers for it look good, man. Maybe it's just hoping against hope that we're going to get another great indie film, but hey, I'm going to go the polar opposite to indie right now. I am going to go to hipster films, man. These are films you should know about before they're cool. The award for hipster films. It's kind of like artsy films, basically A24. Beau is Afraid. From Hereditary and Midsommar director Ari Aster comes Beau is Afraid, a surreal comedy horror, and if you've seen the trailer, you'd believe that easily. Spanning decades of time, it follows Joaquin Phoenix Beau as he journeys home, encountering wild supernatural threats after the death of his mother. A 3-hour runtime and seemingly total creative control certainly has fans of Aster's previous work very excited. Will it be a wonderful trip or a detour down Disappointment Boulevard? Find out April 21st. The Iron Claw. Martha Marcy May Marlene director brings us The Iron Claw, the story of the legendary wrestling family, the Von Erichs, and the curse their family seems to live under, facing constant tragedy and death. Featuring a cast that includes Zac Efron, Lily James, and Jeremy Allen White, along with real-life pro wrestler MJF. The Iron Claw strikes sometime this year. A Good Person. Zach Braff's next film is a coming-of-age drama that sees Alison, Florence Pugh, form an unlikely relationship with her would-be father-in-law, Morgan Freeman, years after being involved in a failed car accident. Set for release March 24th. Poor Things. The next film from Yorgos Lanthimos, director of Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Favourite, reunites him with one of his favourite stars, Emma Stone. Not like one of his favourite stars, the star of the film, The Favourite. I'm sure it's one of his favourite stars if he's going to work with her as well, but it's an important distinction. I'm not throwing shade. I'm not saying he doesn't like Olivia Colman, for example. As a woman who drowned herself to escape an abusive husband, only to find her brain replaced with the brain of her unborn child with the help of her father. What the fuck? Tale as old as time. Jesus Christ. You think your family is fucked up. Willem Dafoe and Mark Ruffalo also star in this adaptation of a book of the same name. Poor Things arrives this year. Asteroid City. Wes Anderson's romantic comedy drama sees parents and students gather at Junior Stargazers Convention, disrupted by monumental events. I changed my mind, by the way. This has the best cast. Wait for it. Limited release June 16th, before wide release the week after. This cast is insane. Now, look, I think Wes Anderson gets amazing cast, and sometimes they come in and it's like a minute long. But listen to this cast, right? Yeah, actually, you know what? Better cast than Oppenheimer, I'm going to say it. Tilda Swinton, Adrian Brody, Tom Hanks, Margot Robbie, Rupert Friend, Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, Bryan Cranston, Hope Davis, Jeff Goldblum, Jeffrey Wright, Liev Schreiber, Tony Revolori, Matt Dillon, Sophia Lillis, Steve Park, Maya Hawke, Fisher Stevens, Jake Ryan, Ethan Josley, Edward Norton, Steve Carell, Hong Chow, Willem Dafoe, Grace Edwards, Aristo Meehan, Rita Wilson, and Jarvis Cocker. Holy shit. Right, that's an amazing cast. Hopefully the film is as good and can live up to that cast. Nimona, the once doomed adaptation of N.D. Stevenson's Eisner Award-winning graphic novel, has found new life on Netflix, with Chloe Grace Moretz and Riz Ahmed lending their voices to this first film from Annapurna Animation, and it comes to Netflix this summer. Then we have Flamin' Hot. Eva Longoria directs this film, telling the story of Richard Montanez, the janitor who claims to have invented the Flamin' Hot Cheeto. Comes to Hulu June 9th. And Fool's Paradise, the directorial debut of Charlie Day, who also writes and stars. This is a satirical comedy about a down-on-the-luck publicist who strikes gold when he realises a man recently released from a mental health facility looks exactly like a method actor who refuses to leave their trailer. Cast includes Ken Jeong, Kate Beckinsale, Adrian Brody, and the dearly departed Ray Liotta, to name a few. Recently acquired at Sundance, this film arrives late 2023. Yeah, maybe call me a hipster. There's a lot of good films there, man. Let's go through them. First one, the Beau is Afraid film from Ari Aster. I really liked Hereditary. I really liked Midsommar. It's weird because the posters for this look terrible, but I think they're meant to be intentionally bad, so I don't know. Then we have the trailer. The trailer was weird, but I kind of liked it. And again, that's kind of what you want, I guess. So that's up there for me. The Iron Claw. This comes from, what's his name? Sean Durkin, who gave us Martha Marcy May Marlene, a film I really, really enjoyed. Really underrated film, in my opinion. Or overlooked film, maybe, perhaps, might be the better choice of words. This one kind of went viral because of Zac Efron, people seeing what he looked like. I was funny because I did an episode long ago where I was talking about films that should be adapted based on wrestling, and I can't remember if I included the Von Erichs or did I say it might be a bit dark. I don't know how you'd make it into a good film, but I'm fascinated to see how they do. Again, it has a great cast too. You know, we have Jeremy Allen White from The Bear as well, and MJF. I'm a wrestling fan, so I'm interested to see how if MJF can act in this. A good person, Zach Braff's film. I mean, look, I like Garden State as much as the next person. Although a lot of people don't like Garden State anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Has he done anything worthwhile since? I remember there was a whole Kickstarter one that never went his way. But yeah, I don't know about that one at all, to be honest. Poor Things. That sounds bonkers, man. Yeah, I could get into that one, to be honest. Let me read that again. So a woman drowns herself to escape her husband, but her brain is replaced with the brain of her unborn child, with the help of her father. So her father was like, let me get the brain of the baby and put it into her. So like, does she? But it's not her. See, this is what makes me interested in the film. How weird it is. Asteroid City, yeah, like I said, Wes Anderson film can go either way in Wes Anderson sometimes. This shows a lot of promise, has a great cast. Hopefully it's good. I did really enjoy The French Dispatch as much as other people didn't love it as much as some of his previous films. Nimona, this was going to be a Fox film before Fox was bought by Disney and Blue Sky Animation were making it. I haven't read Nimona. I have the book around here somewhere. I mean, not at the award centre at my house, which I'm not in right now. Keep my story straight. But, you know, I've heard it's very good. I think an animated version of this could be amazing, so hopefully it's good. Flamin' Hot. It could be quirky, fun. Maybe, it could be kind of a sleeper hit, maybe. But, you know, I don't really care how they made Flamin' Hot Cheetos. That shit's delicious, but, you know, I don't really care if it was janitor or not. If he's not getting paid for it, it's not going to change anything with the film, is it? Fool's Paradise. I like Charlie Day. This is a film that started production a long time ago, though, and that gives me kind of pause. Has an amazing cast as well, it should be said. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I want to watch it, but I don't know if I'm like if it's like my most anticipated for this category, because it is a tough category. Beau is Afraid is up there. Poor Things is up there. Asteroid City is up there. The Iron Claw. Maybe it's just the wrestling fan in me. And I do love Martha Marcy May Marlene. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to give it to the Iron Claw, the Von Erich family film. I think hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's tasteful. Tough film to get right, but I hope it does, because I think that would be awesome. In theory, it could be a great film. Well, hey, we've talked about the Iron Claw, we've talked about wrestlers, we've talked about hipster films. This is truly the opposite of hipster films. Ready? Our final category, ladies and gentlemen, is for superhero films. We've called it Martin Scorsese's soon-to-be least favourite films awards in the past. We might as well just call it Old Hollywood's least favourite film genre. Which film are we going to watch that's a superhero film award? That's not a great title. What else could I call it? The Scourge of All Directors, our superhero movie award. Da-da-da-da. Here we go. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the sequel to the acclaimed Into the Spider-Verse, finally arrives this year, with a second part to follow in 2024. This entry sees Miles Morales launch into the multiverse, where he meets its protectors, the Spider People, as they face a mysterious villain that threatens them all. Expect plenty more Spider-Man variants, including Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099. Thankfully, you won't have to wait until 2099 for this one, as it swings into cinemas June 2nd. If you prefer insects who are arachnids, though, you can check out Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The MCU's smallest heroes have their biggest adventure yet, as they journey through the quantum realm and cross paths with the big bad of Marvel's future, Kang the Conqueror. The first film of Phase 5 promises to have big repercussions and hopefully will give us the best Ant-Man film so far. February 17th. Blue Beetle, or if you prefer beetles to insects or arachnids, you can check out DC's Blue Beetle. Once set to be a HBO Max film, this will now get a theatrical release as Zolo Maraduena. I hope I got that right. Jamie Reyes finds a superpowered alien error and becomes a hero. Catch this beetle August 18th. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Say his name, say his name. Shazam! Fury of the Gods arise at a time of change for the DCU. This time, the Shazam gang face off against the Daughters of Atlas, who are threatening to destroy the world, with Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, and Rachel Zegler joining the cast. They're certainly in for a tough fight. Will lightning strike twice for Shazam? Find out March 17th. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. Before he changes the DC landscape, James Gunn will bring his Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy to what appears to be a dramatic end. After an attack on Nowhere, the Guardians are forced back into action to protect one of their own on a mission so dangerous it may just be their last. Will Poulter joins the cast as Adam Warlock, and Maria Bakalova joins as Cosmo the Space Dog. Take off with the Guardians, May 5th. The Flash. The much troubled and delayed Flash film hopes to make it to cinemas this year. As Barry Allen travels through time to try and prevent his mother's murder, he faces some unintended consequences in his own timeline. Adapting the classic Flashpoint story, this one will feature Michael Keaton's return as Batman and the introduction of Sasha Calle's Supergirl. Questions remain about who else may appear and whether this will set a fresh table for DC or instead be a climactic ending to the last decade of DC films. The Flash starts its run June 16th. The Marvels. Captain Marvel finally gets her sequel. Sorry, Internet. Which will see Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel and Monica Rambeau join forces, or more accurately, swap places, whenever they use their powers, and they have to figure out why. This one comes from Candyman director Nia DaCosta and will surprisingly be the final Marvel film of the year when it lands July 28th. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. The Heroes in the Half Shell return to cinemas, this time in a computer animated style film from producers Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. With an animation style expected to be akin to Spider-Verse and being voiced this time by actual teenagers, we see Turtles taken to the surface to take down a criminal syndicate and an army of mutants with the help of new friend April O'Neil. Cowabunga, dudes! August 4th. Sony's Spunk, or whatever it's called. What was the name of their universe? It's not that anymore. It was like, used to be like Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel characters, the Spunk. I think it's probably just called Sony Universe Marvel characters or something now. Something less disgusting sounding, hopefully. This is going to be Kraven the Hunter film. A film surprisingly directed by J.C. Shandor of all people. Features Aaron Taylor-Johnson as the big game hunter and Ariana DeBose as Calypso, a voodoo priestess and love interest, along with Fred Heckinger as the chameleon, as he attempts to prove he is the greatest hunter of all time. The hunt is on October 6th. What did I definitely didn't pronounce. Ariana DeBose. I made it sound Italian. Ariana DeBose. I don't know. Aquaman, The Last Kingdom. Finally, the sequel to the 2018 smash hit arrives with Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. James Wan returns to direct with Jason Momoa returning as Arthur Curry. Patrick Wilson and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II also return as Ocean Master and Black Manta, respectively. May also be Ben Affleck's final outing as Batman. Aquaman looks to make a splash December 25th, 2023. Whew, that's all the films we're going to talk about. Okay, Let's talk about superhero movies. There is a lot of them, isn't there always? Okay, Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for me was like one of the best superhero films ever. It was amazing. It's a shame it took that long for a sequel to come out though, isn't it? But it looks good. I'm just slightly worried it's more of the same. Like, I don't know if every animated Spider-Man film I want to see is like, hey, Spider-Verse, look at all the multiverse Spider-Man again. You know, and they kind of did a great job of introducing people to the multiverse concept a bit more. But now it feels like the multiverse is kind of everywhere, so I wonder, has this time kind of come and gone? I hope I'm wrong. It looks good. It's a sequel to one of the best superhero films, so that's certainly helping his case. Honestly, it might just be up there because I think this is a bit of a weaker year for superhero films for me. I know, let's get into it. Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania. Okay. This looks okay. It has a lot of promise. I hope it delivers. It's Ant-Man though. You know, it's like, okay, fine. Hopefully it's good. It's out pretty soon. I'm not massively excited for it, but I'm hoping for the best. Blue Beetle, again, we haven't seen anything from this. I will say this, right? We have 4 DC films coming out this year. DC is in such an odd place that it's hard to get excited about any of the DC films. Because it's like, does this even matter? As at the time of this recording, James Gunn has now released his Phase 1 slate, The Gods and Monsters of DC. We don't really know who's coming back, or if everyone is coming back, or what the story of these films is, and certainly they're making it sound as if, hey, yeah, no, these films matter, who knows who's going to show up. Ugh. But I kind of feel like that's them saving face, and I thought what I saw from the set photos looked decent, but I don't know, Blue Beetle, it's like, yeah, okay, fine. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, man, this is one I wish I was more excited for, because I loved Shazam. It was one of my favourite DC films. But the trailers have done nothing for me. They've not been good trailers, let's be honest. The first trailer wasn't good, the second trailer gave away too much and also didn't look good. I hope I'm wrong. I hope David F. Sandberg delivers a good sequel, because the first Shazam was great, so I'm hoping for the best for this one, but I'm not exactly massively excited. Get into the Galaxy Volume 3 on the other hand. Look good. It looks kind of dramatic. It looks like, you know, Gunn has that freedom to just do what he wants with these kind of weird characters, and that possibly maybe even means like them being killed off, which we don't always get in Marvel films, certainly not for a long time. So I'm hoping that we get something here that's a bit definitive and feels like a Gunn film, and also feels like an ending for that era of Guardians films. Probably, look, they're going to show up again. Other versions of the characters will show up as well, but I want something that feels like has a bit of finality, because that's sorely lacking in Marvel at the moment for me. The Flash. Oh, do we have to talk for The Flash? I mean, first of all, Ezra Miller. Fuck them. Like, you know, like, that person is just getting away with murder, almost. Getting away with everything except murder, just about. And I don't know, it's hard for me to be excited about this film that we've been hearing about for ages. I don't think Ezra Miller is a good Flash either, to be honest. And I don't. It's in such a strange place, because it was going to reset the DC stuff to where it could work. Now it feels like everything is just gone anyway, and people are like, it's the best film. Even James Gunn and Peter Safran are like, yeah, this is the best film. It's coming out, but I also feel like they're just saying that because they know this is an expensive film that needs to do well. Because honestly, like, even though the DC films are like kind of being swept under the carpet a little bit, they need to make money. Warner Brothers Discovery is not doing well. They've hardly had the money to release 2 films last year, and neither of them were exactly massively successful. So yeah, Flash, I wish I was excited for this. I also really wish they weren't doing Flashpoint, to be honest. As the first Flash film, and it's the mess with all this baggage attached. Ugh, forget it. Especially with Michael Keaton returning. Yeah, it's kind of annoying me more I think about it. The Marvels, you know, I like Captain Marvel more than most people. I like Miss Marvel as well. I don't know. I haven't seen anything from this film, so I don't know. It feels fine. I am quite interested in the fact that we're not getting any Marvel films for quite a while, apparently. Like, this is July 28th, and we're not getting anything after that. So it wouldn't surprise me if this actually, you know, kind of got pushed to later in the year, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm moderately excited for it, we'll say. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg being attached. I don't know how to feel about that one. Like, obviously, they've done some good work as producers. I am interested in the fact that it's like more that they're actually teenagers. Seems to be the vibe they're going for. But I don't know. I feel like we get so much Ninja Turtle stuff that it's hard to tell. I'm sure the animation style is going to be glorious. Hopefully it's good. I like the logo they released, but that's kind of all I know about it, to be honest. Kraven the Hunter, this is weird, isn't it? Like, you keep trying to give Sony the benefit of the doubt, and they always fuck it up, don't they? Like, Venom, not great. Then they hit a new low with Morbius. JC Chandor is a weird one. Like, he's like a proper good director. Why is he making Craven? I don't know how you do Craven without Spider-Man. But, oh God, are they still building to Sinister Six as well, are they? Oh God, no, I'm not. No, this is bottom of the pile for me. Even the DC stuff that I'm not that fascinated with, this is way below those. Aquaman: The Last Kingdom. Man, 5 years since the last Aquaman. I didn't love the first Aquaman anyway. It's like, why? How you expect me to get excited for this? Especially when, like, are we even getting more Aquaman after this? Yeah, I don't have any interest for the new Aquaman, to be honest. The Lost Kingdom. Maybe I'll see footage and it'll change my mind, but yeah, I honestly, I'm normally a pro superhero person, but maybe I'm burnt out. But maybe this isn't a strong showing. Yeah, there's nothing here I'm massively interested in. The Marvel stuff. Okay, out of DC stuff, if I had to pick one DC film, I guess it's The Flash, because it's something we haven't seen, and there's nothing from Blue Beetle that I can really point to that would make me excited about that one. The Marvel stuff, probably Guardians 3. But I will say, Across the Spider-Verse is probably the most excited one I am. So Across the Spider-Verse, yeah, like, I am excited for it. As much as I have some reservations, that's the one I'm most excited for out of the superhero category. So the winner of this category, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Okay, those are all the films we're talking about. But now I'm going to reveal my most anticipated films of the year. This is my top 10 most anticipated films of 2023, starting with number 10.
Your days of fighting for the so-called greater good are over. This is our chance to control the truth.
Like I said, this is a really great franchise now. Tom Cruise is giving it his all. It has a fantastic cast. I really just love this ensemble, and they seemingly just keep upping the ante. And they've never left me down with any of these films, aside from the second one, but that was a long, long time ago. And it feels like they've gotten better after each successive entry, so I'm hoping that this is going to continue that trend when it comes out this year.
I want you all to know that I'm grateful to fight beside my friends.
Incinerate them.
I think James Gunn has a real rare opportunity here, because it feels like he actually can kind of end his series on his own terms. And we don't always get that with Marvel. It feels like since the Guardians are kind of in their own corner and they've given him amazing creative control already, that he can actually do something that feels a little bit different to the usual Marvel stuff. And I think it comes at a time when that's really needed. Looking forward to Adam Warlock. Looking forward to Cosmo the Space Dog. And honestly, the trailers for it look fantastic and looks like it might be emotional. I don't think James Gunn has set a foot wrong yet in the superhero world. And hopefully Guardians 3 will be no different.
We'll all fly away together. Into the forever and beautiful sky.
Miles! Want to get out of here?
Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from.
I mean, like I said, I think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse... Wait, is that which one? Across the Spider-Verse, yes, is the new one. Terribly titled, by the way. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I think, is one of the best superhero films and one of the best animated films in recent memory. It was fantastic. See it endless times. How can you not be excited for more of that? I hope it keeps the trend going of being just as good, if not better, and not just that it does more of the same. But certainly I'm really excited to step back into the Spider-Verse this year.
We are supposed to be the good guys.
We are.
I am so sorry for what your daddy passed down to you. But I wanted a child, the greatest gift of my life.
I love Ari Aster's other work, so that's mainly on the strength of this. The trailer looks weird. I don't know what to make of it. It feels like it's going to be a pretty big swing. I hope it's successful, but I'm certainly excited for it. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, Ari Aster seems like a combination that is so weird that we're getting. And if you're going to get him in a film, I feel like you have to have something pretty impressive. And a 3-hour weird horror film, there's a load of other genres mixed in there. It certainly doesn't look like a horror when you watch it. Psychological, folk horror, I don't know what it is, but I'm certainly excited for seeing it this year. Community the movie. I don't know if this is coming out this year, but I hope it is. I mean, 6 seasons and a movie, baby. Iron Claw. I mean, yeah, I'm a wrestling fan. And I loved Martha Marcy May Marlene. This is the same director. It's got an amazing cast. I'm really curious to see how you adapt this story and make it interesting instead of just a kind of continuing series of dominoes of sad tragedy. But it's a fascinating story, and I really want to see how it plays out on the big screen. Killers of the Flower Moon. I mean, it's a Scorsese film, and it's got an amazing actual true basis. It's based on a fantastic book. DiCaprio, De Niro, seemingly they have as much money as God to make this movie. How could you not be excited for it? I mean, if you're a fan of film, Scorsese getting to reunite his two closest creative partners on a film with a great story and a lot of money, that's pretty much anyone's ideal situation if you love movies.
Is anyone ever going to tell the truth about what's happening here?
Christopher Nolan, I didn't massively love Tenet, but Oppenheimer looks like could be a return to form. It's got an amazing cast. I really am curious to see what he does when he has a film that it has such a foot in reality. And I also think Oppenheimer's story lends itself to film in an interesting way. But I think really it's a case where if another director was making this, I wouldn't be as excited. But I'm very fascinated to see what Nolan does with Oppenheimer. The Killer. I mean, David Fincher is one of my favourite directors. I don't know a lot about The Killer, but I know that he's teaming up with Andrew Kevin Walker again, and last time they teamed up, we got 7. If we get anything even near 7, it's going to be one of my favourite films of the year.
A few times in my life, I've seen things I can't explain. And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe. It's how hard you believe it.
And after all those artsy films, I'm also going to say that I support indie film. That's right, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. What can I say, man? I'm really pulling for this one. I like James Mangold. I want Indiana Jones to have a good final chapter. I want to kind of redeem itself after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull a little bit. And it looks really good. So please, please get this one right. My most anticipated film of 2023 is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. That's right, the top 10 is revealed. I've revealed my favourite film of the year, and of course, like I said, this is an award ceremony, and just like that, we have an award. The Culty, it's back, everyone. Last year, I was going to say it was given to Matt Reeves. It wasn't given. Matt Reeves, here's how you know he respects it though. He was like, I don't want it, which, you know, that's like a sign of respect. He was like, I'm going to shave you on shipping. Shit. I'll send it in 2 parts. Don't worry, Mangold. This has your name on it. Not really. I'll actually need it back at the end of the year as well because I only have 1. But that is our Culties this year. Wow, what an illustrious, what a glorious year in cinema it could be, and hopefully will be. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please give it a like. And of course, there's way more stuff coming this year, not just in film, but from us here at Pop Cult Pod. So please subscribe if you can, and check out some of the other stuff on the channel. I'd love to know what your most anticipated film is. Let me know in the comments below. And of course, call me out on the decisions I made. Did you think I should have picked another film or a category? Do my categories make no sense? I know. I don't care. But you can still call me out in the comments below. Either way, thank you for joining me at the 5th Culties. Hopefully, I'll see you next year at the 6th Culties. I've been your cult leader, Tom Pat. Thanks for stopping by. And remember, can't spell cult without you.